Shots fired, shots fired. Flag male, he's got a gun in his hand. He's in between the block. Lock it up, guys. Shot fired.
Who's doing the shooting? Police? 1024.
The man shown in this footage, his name is Jermaine Small, a convicted felon who had been recently released from prison on March 2, 2024, after serving a 9-year sentence for armed robbery. But before we delve into the events that transpired later on, let's provide some context about the altercation that led to the police being called earlier that day.
So on Saturday, this past Saturday, March 30th, at about 5:32 p.m., the St. Petersburg Police Department received a call of shots fired at the Shady Side Food Mart, again located at 4200 15th Avenue South. A citizen was in the parking lot of the food mart and saw a gray, newer model Honda Accord. And that's the vehicle, and I'll explain why we have the photograph of it. That's the vehicle to my left up here and to your far right. Saw that Honda Accord stopped in the driveway of the access area to the food mart, and an occupant of the car, and I'll show you the video, appeared to be engaged in some sort of a dialogue or some sort of a conversation with Jermaine Small, who was standing on the sidewalk and on the passenger side of that car at the entrance to the food mart off 15th Avenue South. The caller, who happened to be in the parking lot, called and stated that Small fired one round from a handgun into that car. That car, the Honda Accord, then rapidly fled. As you can hear, and you'll see it in the video, the tires squeal, and as soon as the shots fired, fled south through the parking lot and out of the area.
Officers from the St. Pete Police Department responded to the Shady Side Food Market along 15th Avenue South around 5:30 p.m. And Saturday, investigators reported that Small had an interaction with an individual inside a gray Honda Accord that had pulled into the market. It is unknown who the person in the vehicle was or why the incident escalated to the point where Jermaine Small drew his firearm and began shooting before the Accord took off.
That's Small walking right there. You can see him with the shirt over his shoulder. That's Small. That's the Honda Accord that pulls in. You can see they got his attention and he's coming back.
A 9mm Glock handgun equipped with a 50-round drum magazine, which was illegal for him to possess as a felon. Following the incident at the market, SPPD reported that Small was also observed shooting into a home in the 1600 block of 42nd Avenue South. Authorities mentioned that a partially blind 70-year-old man resides in the home. According to the sheriff, Small tried to get the man's attention before he fired 2 rounds from his gun. The elderly man ran into his home and was not injured. Officials said Small headed to 17th Avenue South, and witnesses reported seeing him carry the gun with a towel wrapped around the drum. That brings us back to the encounter shown earlier in this video with Officers Sousa, the officer who initially fired back at Small.
Shot fired, subject down. Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Ground! No, ground! Ground! Hands! Let me see your hands! Let him go, don't move! Put your hands out! Put your hands out! Challenging. Put your hands out! Behind your back! Behind your back!
You need to know if you're good. Everybody gets
Here.
good.
Give us the air. We're on 40th Street, 1740. Get another unit here, please. We are good, we are good. Suspect down. Yeah. I'm gonna cuff him. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Don't move!
Investigators said patrol officers Officers Sousa and Johnson saw Small, and he ran away into a nearby lot on 40th Street South. Small fired 2 rounds at officers, according to officials. Sousa returned fire and hit Small on the cheek, causing Small to bleed. Galtieri said Sousa fired 13 rounds from his gun at Small. According to Galtieri, both officers acted appropriately under the circumstances. Small was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and released on Monday. Small was taken to the county jail, according to authorities. Small was then later charged with attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, attempted first-degree murder, and felon in possession of a firearm.
This could have been, of course, exponentially worse, and you could have had a lot of dead bodies here because this guy was on a crime spree of violence. And the real scary part is when it's random violence, because that's just when innocent people are at risk and at peril because of a guy who, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It almost makes you speechless. Come on, you did 9 years in state prison for 2 counts of armed robbery with a gun, and 28 days later you got that gun with a 50-round magazine and you're out shooting at people and shooting at cops and trying to kill cops. I mean, it's very dangerous. And you know, as we said recently a few times, we see an uptick of gun violence in Pinellas.
Because of Small's criminal record and the fact that he was released from the Florida Department of Corrections just days before he tried to murder 2 people, including a police officer, with this 9mm handgun with a 50-round drum, he faces a mandatory life in prison without the possibility of parole under Florida's prison release law, said Sheriff Galtieri. Investigators are still trying to find the driver and anyone who may have been inside the Honda Accord that Small initially fired at. They said they haven't been able to determine if there were any potential victims there, but there were no reports of gunshot victims at nearby hospitals.